And next, Professor Lawrence will introduce the School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation. Ms. Cho Yoonji, or Annie, an international student currently enrolled in that school, will also join this section. So please, Professor Lawrence.
Thank you very much, Konomi Sensei, and thank you, Drummond Sensei, for a great talk. In some sense, I think the mock lecture by Drummond Sensei is also a great lead-in to introduce our School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation. Because one of the key things in the talk that you will realize very soon is that, in essence, we need specialist knowledge and innovative ideas, and we need to make them work for society, which means we need to work together. This working together, that's the key concept for the School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation that I want to briefly introduce. And I'll try to do so in a succinct way. One of our slogans is "Color Your World." And one of the key features of School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation is that you, as a student, get to design your own curriculum much more so than in the bioresources or in the engineering departments. Now, I'm one of the people involved in this school. Actually, Douglas Drummond Sensei is there as well. So if you liked his talk, you could consider approaching the problems as well from School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation. I serve as Vice Dean for the school. And when we were setting up this school, I was trying to think back, like, what would I have wanted when I was a high school student? And what I would have wanted was basically freedom to study what I wanted to study and active learning where I could acquire some skills. Now, my own field of interest is basically decision making. And so I'm interested in how people make decisions, because anything you want to do, any new system you want to introduce, somehow you will have to convince other people to work with you. It turns out that this idea of decision-making is not simply something you can address from psychology or from economics. It actually crosses any fields of science, engineering, humanities that wants to make an impact for society. And I sort of have studied the decision-making process using neuroscience and behavioral techniques. And I've applied that to questions in bioethics, questions such as how should we deal with pandemics? So how do we try to get our head around the economics and the public health issues? When do we decide that we have to lock down? When do we decide that everybody has to get vaccinated, maybe not just on a voluntary basis? Those kinds of decisions, big decisions, need to be looked at. Now, as a person interested in decision-making, I quickly realized that you need to really look at it from an issue-based approach. And that is what we're trying to do in the School of Interdisciplinary Science. So as a concept, one of the key aspects is that to really deal with issues, to really do problem solving for society, we need to work in an interdisciplinary way. And we've set up our curriculum very much on the idea of focusing on skills and trying to think issue-based. So we try to think about issues such as pandemics or climate change or terrorism or cybersecurity, and try to see what angles, what perspectives we need to combine for that. It means that we focus on the ability to work in teams, to get talents together to work on problems, to try to think innovatively, try to reflect and collaborate towards new ways of solving things. And that interaction with society means that no solution can be, worked out by a single person. You really need to work in projects with people in teams. And so that means as a school, we're looking to train people to work together, to be project managers and leaders, not just specialists. And so we do that with different forms of learning. And so this very diverse group of teachers, it includes me, but also Douglas, for instance. We have people, we have lawyers, we have ethicists, we have public health people, we have mathematicians, we have people in agriculture and engineering, earth sciences, and so on. The distinctive features here is, first of all, that we offer a curriculum that brings humanities and the sciences together. A very important aspect also is that our classes are in English and in Japanese. It's actually a bilingual program. And so it is shared with Japanese students. In that sense, it's not actually an IUPE program. It's very different from the bioresources and the engineering programs, because in this program, you're put together with the Japanese students. So we have the shared classes. It's very much sort of active learning oriented. And so we have workshop types courses where the idea is that as a group of 5 people, you go out and try to analyze the problems, you look at complex problems and try to see what kind of people you need to talk to, what kind of specialists and what kind of specialist knowledge do you need to bring together. It takes you beyond the classroom, and one of the key components is also very much an international orientation. During the pandemics, now we're sort of doing that very much in an online format, but obviously that's also a precursor to real in-person traveling future. We do that very much with a diverse environment and sort of building on that. In that sense, our school, the School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation, is really a flagship for the Kyushu University trying to internationalize. So we are trying to basically change a little bit the educational system for the entire university, making it much more international oriented and much more in terms of active learning, and trying to bring together perspectives in very much a problem-solving, issue-based kind of thinking. So it's, in some sense, not so different from some of the questions that were addressed in the bioresources, but we bring it together in more sort of explicit collaboration format. And so on that note, I've tried to reduce my talk a little bit and went down from 12 to about 8 minutes. And that gives me a little bit of time, hopefully, to introduce Cho Yoonji, one of our excellent students, Annie.
Okay, hello. Thank you for calling me excellent student.
No worry.
As a part of the School of ISI, today I'd like to have a short introduction about our faculty. So, hello, my name is Cho Yoonji. You can call me Annie. I'm the first batch of the international students of the School of ISI. I think the School of ISI is the place where you can make connections with Japanese friends, but also while making connections with international friends as well. The School of ISI is a faculty where being composed of the highest international students ratio. So coming back to my story, I'm Korean, and before I came to Kyushu University, I studied in Singapore during my high school time, and I acquired international baccalaureate. Among 4 areas of studies, which Professor Yan just explained, I chose human and life and people in society to be my main field. I have had deep interest in biology and psychology, and from various interesting lectures from the School of ISI, I started to have deep interest in aging population and ways to improve their well-beings. Since then, I started to consult with the Professor Yan and designing my own research. And now I'm doing a joint research with one of my friend in School of ISI, and regarding the correlation between metacognition and social aware activeness in an elderly population. I get to interact with the elderly from Itoshima community, and I process the data with high-tech technologies and facilities in the Kyushu University. Okay, next slide, please. So other than schoolwork, you can also enjoy the university life in Itoshima. Ito campus is located nearby mountain and the beach. So you can chill anytime. And also by bus and train, you can always go to the city. So you can enjoy the both nature and the city life at the same time. This summer, I spent wonderful time at Itoshima Beach, where just 15 minutes away by the bicycle, we enjoyed beach barbecue and fireworks at night. Also, there are a lot of students clubs that you can join. I joined the golf club in my first and second year, and I got to make new Japanese friends mostly. And I'm one of the leader of the KUIFA group, which is the International Social Club in Kyudai. And so it was a place where I could meet many Japanese friends and shared our cultures together and also made really good friends. Additionally, I have one comment regarding the Japanese learning thing. Referring to my personal experience, when I was entering Kyushu University, I could barely speak. I knew what is hiragana and katakana, but I could not communicate in Japanese at all. But I could naturally learn and train my Japanese by taking Japanese classes and also talking to my friends, Japanese friends. And of course, Kyushu University provides wonderful Japanese learning courses, but especially the School of ISI kind of accelerates your learning Japanese speed because they require high credits for Japanese language courses. And also our classes are mostly hybrid way, which is Japanese and English. So there will be a lot of opportunities for you to learn Japanese and practice Japanese. So it's always better to prepare in advance, but it won't be a trouble even if you cannot speak Japanese well. So next slide, please. Okay, so lastly, I would like to briefly talk about my career plan. I would like to proceed to a master program relating to my current research in metacognition in elderly population. After that, I want to work as a researcher and enter the company where I aim to enhance the elderly's well-being and their cognitive ability. Ultimately, I would like to establish my own business supporting elderly's well-being and how they can process the aging more systematically. So so this is basically my plan and what I am doing in School of ISI. So I'm really excited to see you guys soon. Thank you.